Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. We will call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
At 3:03, Chair Wilson,
Here.
Vice Chair Grenier, absent. Member Beard, absent. Member Jakubek, absent. Member Jensen.
Here.
Member Martino.
Here.
Member Smith.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Pledge of allegiance, please. Mr. John.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We will now go for consent items. Anyone wishing to speak on anything not present on the agenda? This will be your time. Each speaker will be allotted 3 minutes.
Chair, the first item on consent is approval of the order of the agenda as presented.
Yes, thank you. So the approval of the order of the agenda as presented, I make a motion to remove the B, to not approve it as presented, and remove the item B as discussion for the marketing proposals. I've been made aware that the marketing manager gave her resignation, and 6 days ago, a notice was sent out for a new marketing manager. As we do not have a marketing plan and overall tourism plan, I'm not sure how we can review proposals and see what needs to be done or even have an opinion on that at this time. So I make a motion to remove item B.
I'll second.
Aye.
Aye.
I'll make a motion. What do you want? Make a motion? Quick question, will Cheryl be here today?
I'm your staff today.
Okay, thank you. Yes, sir.
What is your reason again for wanting to remove B from the agenda?
I tried to get information from the marketing manager. I believe her last day is the 31st regarding the proposals and what exactly we'd be discussing today, and I could not get any information. We thought she would be here today, and she is not. So at this time, as we don't have an overall marketing plan, I'm not sure how we can even review the proposals to see how we move forward.
Okay.
Excuse me, Madam Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I would like to propose that we move forward as we have today. Maybe we have a special meeting for this very reason, that we should not stop our duties and what we're supposed to do. We are an advisory committee, and we need to come up with some ideas of who they can be. At this time, it is not necessary. You can still go and find out that information that you wish, but that should not negate what we're trying to push forward and get accomplished. So I would like to just move forward with today's consent agenda.
Thank you for your opinion, sir. I will say that I feel that we can't move forward as we have tried to get information. After the last meeting, when we made this special meeting request, we learned that the marketing manager had resigned, and we were not notified of that. We were not initially notified as a committee that her resignation was put in, nor that were we notified that the position had been posted 6 days ago. Last meeting, the marketing manager let us know that she did not have an overall marketing plan and that there was not a plan in place for how to move forward. So being an advisory committee, I'm not sure how we can advise on anything if we don't know the parameters of that.
And can I say something?
Please.
Yes, ma'am.
At our last meeting, one of the reasons for holding this particular meeting was to go over the invoices. So Chair Wilson and myself we offered to be on a subcommittee, and none of the materials that we needed to actually audit the invoices of the Abbey agency were forthcoming. So we don't have any of that information. So I feel like one of the reasons for this meeting was to go over that, and we were never provided that information by the previous marketing manager or current marketing manager who has now resigned.
The invoices weren't provided to you after that meeting?
No.
It was, we made a specific request for the updated invoices, the ones that were received on February 13th after the marketing manager approved the previous invoices not to contract on January 31st.
It's my
We then followed.
understanding they were sent to you on the Monday after that meeting.
No.
They-
I never received them.
Yes, we sent individual emails, as we were told to do. Luis did not get the invoices as far as I was concerned. We were specifically supposed to get an invoice audit by the marketing manager. That instead was done by the Abbey agency, so a vendor audited their own invoices. Regarding today, discussing the proposals, the marketing manager was supposed to be here to give us an idea of her overall marketing plan so that we could have input on the proposals and her direction.
I believe the item was to go over proposals, not to provide a marketing plan.
If
That's what
you,
the request was at the last meeting, to go over proposals.
that maybe have been what she put, but we specifically asked if she had a marketing plan. The answer was no. It was also discussed how we could move forward with proposals and having input if there was not an overall marketing plan in place, and she was supposed to be working on that.
Yeah, I believe the request was to bring back the 3 proposals that were brought with Abby's proposal back to this committee at a special meeting for discussion.
That was one of the requests, sir.
That's what's on the agenda.
That's what she put on the agenda, but that was only one of the requests. There was email correspondence back and forth about the accuracy of the agenda. At this point, I'd like to make a motion again to remove the discussion of the marketing proposals from the agenda. Sir, yes, sir.
Would you schedule that for the next full meeting?
Yes, sir, of course.
And then we would do that at the next full meeting,
Yes, sir.
which would be the first Thursday in April,
Yes, sir.
okay?
I also think, sir, that we have 4 of the 7 members here, and it would be of great benefit to have everyone here to discuss the marketing proposals, especially as we don't know what's happening right now with the position.
Okay.
So is that a second, John? Are you seconding the motion to remove it from the agenda? Call for a vote?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion passes 3-1.
Thank you. At this time, if we have any staff, or, I'm sorry, committee members that would like to speak, public comments?
If I may read?
Yes, ma'am.
This section is intended to provide members of the public with the opportunity to address the committee on items not on the agenda. This section is limited to 30 minutes. Each speaker will be afforded 3 minutes and may speak only once. State law does not allow the committee to discuss or take action on issues not on the agenda, except to briefly respond or to ask staff to follow up on such items.
Thank you. Right now, I don't have any, ma'am? It says 4B and 3. Thank you so much. Okay. Denise El Amin. Welcome.
Hello. I'm Denise Ellaby, and I'm coming to talk about the TAC, the Tourist Advisory Committee. I was in attendance at the last meeting when all of the issues came up about the money being spent, the $129,000 by the Abbey agency, and they had basically no accountability. And a month later, I found out that Cheryl has left, and she was the one who was the gold star for Abbey. She stood behind them. So I'm trying to understand, Brad, are you now standing behind the Abbey agency instead of Cheryl? Is that what, well, I can't ask you a question, so I'm just gonna assume you are. My question today is, my comment is that there is a lot of money being wasted in Solvang, which I would have preferred, of course, I'm going to keep harping on the $40,000 that I could have had another vote. But I'm going to move on, people. $129,000 check was signed by one person, and that would be the mayor, for the Abbey agency. A week or two after we had that meeting that questioned the erroneous charges. And at that time, the attorney said, oh, well, we won't get it back. Well, if you don't give it to them, you don't have to ask for it back. They have to ask for you to give it to them. But we so generously signed the check and gave it to them. So I have a problem with this TAC committee. If you guys are an advisory committee, then are you advising them to just waste our money? Is $129,000 nothing? Since you have a new chair, Vasti Wilson, she seems to be qualified to bring up these issues. And these are important issues. And I'm hoping that each one of you, there are 3 of you missing today, and I don't know why, but I'm hoping that you guys understand that $129,000 is a lot of money. We are a small town. Our sewage is just, I don't even want to say it's going to back up on us in a little while. That's money that we could be using. So please, 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 control your spending, control these friends or whoever you have coming in here and these contracts that you're giving to these people. You guys really need to advise a little better, a little closely. I'm asking and I'm begging you that, okay? Please. Thank you. And I appreciate Louise and John. Thank you. Basti and Kim. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. In a quick response, I will say that one of the tenets of the committee members, at least as I've learned, is to ensure that we do provide that oversight regarding contracts, and we hold to the letter our duties and responsibilities. Do I have any other public comments? Yes, Mayor Infante.
Hi.
Hello.
Thank you. My name is Mark Infante. I have put in a paper to speak on item 4B, but since you've canceled 4B, then I'd like to speak under general comment. I assume that's acceptable. The issue that came up in the last meeting was one of needing to have a plan, and we don't have anybody to give us a plan right now. Another issue that came up was we're coming up in the tourist season. We don't have any events. We don't have any marketing. We don't have anything going on. We need to have something happening. I'm going to recommend that you make an advice to the city council, which is your role, that we have a short-term marketing contract. There's one in there by, I think it was Stiletto Marketing, that actually listed it as 6 months to a year or something like that. If we took a 6-month contract and let them write a plan for us, because we don't have a marketing manager anymore, we don't have anybody that can write that plan. So we need to have somebody in here that can do some marketing, do a plan for us, and while that plan's going on, get the marketing going so we've got tourists coming in the meantime. It takes time to get this stuff done. You're finding out. It doesn't happen right away. You have to do something, staff comes up, comes back to you the next meeting, you make these changes, it goes back to staff, comes back the following meeting, and pretty soon it's 3 months later and you still haven't got anything done. I'm not blaming you, that's the process in the city. We all know that. And then you got to get to the city council and let the city council make a decision on what we want to do going forward. So I'm going to recommend that you make a recommendation of somebody or some group, like maybe the Stiletto Marketing, to do something in the interim while we're trying to get a plan put together. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And a quick response to Mr. Infanti's comment. I would like to say, it's a brief response that we're allowed, that we were not notified of the resignation of the marketing manager, nor were we notified that the job had been posted. I actually do have an extensive background in marketing and business, and had I been contacted, I could have helped formulate something, but I was not contacted, nor was my opinion asked of anything. So I'm not sure how Stiletto Marketing was chosen. I will say that we did not have any input in that, which I would think that we would have as a committee. Thank you. Yes.
Hi, everyone. My name is Christina Chacho, and I actually have a marketing agency in Solvang called the Chacho Agency. I did submit a proposal to Cheryl, and it was supposed to be, I think, going over today as well. But, you know, I live in Solvang. I have 2 daughters that go to Solvang Elementary. I've had multiple businesses. I have a very large background as an entrepreneur, and sorry, a little nervous. Oh, my gosh. I haven't done public speaking in a while. And I feel, you know, I can add a lot to the city of Solvang. I mean, I'm here every day. And I was actually on the TAC towards the end of the year last year and got to help with a couple of city council members' campaigns as well. And, you know, I'm flexible, I'm passionate about the city, and I don't have a contract. You know, I could definitely step in as a temporary solution month to month. Whatever works for the committee, and I can actually come up with a really great plan to bring people to Solvang. You know, going over social media and all of that. I was looking at kind of the content, and there's not a lot of interaction with, you know, the city, the store owners, and to really get people into the experience of the city. So I just wanted to introduce myself and let you know I'm available for any questions, and a meeting down the road, and just could be a really nice, flexible option. I know you've all been through a lot and have put a lot of hard work into everything. So just want to introduce myself.
Thank you. Any other comments? Anyone on Zoom? Okay, seeing no one. Any members like to make a comment?
This is public comment right now.
Okay. When will, if members want to make comment?
That is under committee member comments.
Thank you so much. Okay. All right, we will go on to the next thing, the discussion item 4A, the discussion to review Abbey Agency invoice audit.
So the report, very short report, was erroneous in the request that Abby was asked to provide a financial audit. Staff was asked to provide that. What you did receive in your packet, though, was something that Abby provided when myself and the mayor met with them on February 15th. So that what you have there is their status report of what they had done. So it wasn't an audit, but it was a status what they had done. It wasn't tied to this audit request. So, but it sounds like if you did not get the information, you're not ready for this item. Then I'm more than willing to meet with both of you and go over the invoices. If you'd like the committee to be, I mean, that was the plan, is what I remember from the video that I watched, that you were to meet with staff to go over the invoices.
Exactly.
So if you'd like, I'm more than willing to do that.
And I will say with this, sir, at our meeting in February 3rd or 4th, I believe it was, we had a motion carried 7-0 in which we were supposed to receive an invoice audit by staff, which would have been the marketing manager. At our last meeting, that person removed it from the agenda and stated she had done so, because she asked Abby, the Abby agency, to do the invoice audit, which is not what the motion was. She was then asked to do another invoice audit, and we signed up for a subcommittee to assist in that. However, it was difficult receiving information. Once again, I received an email, Louise did not, because we messaged separately, in which I received an invoice audit that was done by the Abby agency. I responded and stated that a vendor should not be doing their own invoice audit, and we specifically requested an invoice audit with her position, as she was to oversee the contract. I asked how the invoices were approved, as she had not audited and checked the invoices and did not receive a response. I then discovered that on January 31st via email, that marketing manager approved invoices totaling $129,000, which contractually only your position, the city manager or the utilities director, had the approval to move forward invoices. I'm not sure how that was done, that she was able to do that, but she did. At that time, I messaged her and asked how she approved the invoices, as they were not submitted according to the contract and did not receive a response. I then followed up once again and asked when Abby updated their invoices, because the dates that were on the invoices were erroneous and in the past. And she stated on February 13th. She was notified on February 6th and February 3rd that those invoices had been padded and lots of the services that had been charged for were not rendered, and was asked to audit the invoices before moving forward with payment. That was not done. So at this point, they have been paid $179,000, not including the final invoices. I believe what the attorney said at the last meeting was it would be difficult to move forward in trying to recoup that money. This is almost $200,000 that has been spent without the oversight in which this person was hired to do, and was one of her obligations as a marketing manager. Mr. Infante stood up and said that we don't have a marketing plan, we don't have a marketing manager, we don't have anything in place for tourism, et cetera, et cetera. My question is, how is that possible if we had hired someone to do that? And what exactly has been done since that position has been in place for over 6 months? Why don't we have those things in place? Why don't we have those assets? Today, I still have control of the Facebook page that was supposed to be transferred. As I stated at the last meeting, it should not be transferred to the ownership of the individual for this exact purpose. I don't know where she is today. Had it been transferred to her ownership, it could not be retransferred for another 21 days, and she would have had a city asset, which is why I have asked that best practices be put into place so that an individual is not owner of city assets. I have not been listened to regarding us moving forward with the invoice audit. We have not gotten what we needed. I thank you for agreeing to meet with us to discuss this. And from what I see, it doesn't look like from the correspondence that you were aware of the chain and what was going on, because you were not copied on a lot of the correspondence. But I will have to say that we are supposed to be an oversight committee for the contract.
Not
And
oversight committee.
please don't interrupt me, sir. Thank you. If you look at number 6, as far as our rules and responsibilities, we are supposed to look at the efficacy of the contract, and that includes ensuring that what is in place is adhered to. So that, by definition, is oversight. We have brought that up, and it has not been responded to. So I hope that that is looked at differently moving forward.
Well, as I said, I'm willing to meet with you and go over that. I don't think you have enough in the packet to make a decision on that today.
Well, we asked for it, though.
Right.
So this is the 3rd meeting now where we have asked for this information, and once again, it's being placed on a future agenda. Not because we haven't been willing to do it, but because we have not gotten what we needed from our city liaison. So, as it stands, I guess we cannot review the invoice.
There is no invoice audit, so you can't review it.
So we will move forward with committee members.
Excuse me, Madam Chairperson.
Yes, sir.
You know, I'm a little confused on what the scope is of our job here on the Tourist Advisory committee. When I took on this role, I understood it to be that we were to work on increasing tourism for the city of Solvang. And this is why I volunteered for this. I did not volunteer to be on a committee that was going to be doing audits on advertising agencies. I assumed that would be handled by the accounting department for the city of Solvang. And they have a very good accounting department, and I'm sure that they do not issue checks unless there's backup to support that. Thank you.
I can read out your 6 duties and responsibilities from the city code if you'd like. I have the 6 duties and responsibilities that are listed in the city.
Would you please, sir?
Would you like that? The Tourism Advisory Committee shall have the following duties. 1, serve in an advisory capacity for the city council. 2, make recommendations on matters pertaining to tourism marketing initiatives, tourism projects, and long-range plans for the tourism industry. 3, investigate, research, and report on the feasibility of adoption or implementation of ideas and initiatives to further the city's tourism efforts and increase tax revenues and visitation numbers. 4, make recommendations on the selection of consultants and/or agencies providing professional marketing and advertising services required by the city and any determination of appropriate scope of work. 5, to make recommendations for marketing budget allocations. And 6, to monitor and evaluate effectiveness of marketing and tourism programs.
Do I have any committee member comments?
Yes.
Ma'am? I'm
Apologies
sorry, Ms. Sam.
Before we go to committee member comments, is there a motion to continue this item 4B, or what is the motion?
I'd like to make a motion.
Okay, if you'll hold on one second.
What?
Brad, I want to ask you, since this has been continued for 3 meetings, is there, at this point?
So you're not going to take any action on this because you feel you don't have the information, so continuing it to the next meeting would be the appropriate step.
Okay, and who would we be getting the information from?
It's going to be me.
Okay. Sir?
I propose that we continue this to the next, table this until a meeting going forward. And at that time, we'll bring up items A and B again and try to get this rectified and moving forward.
If we can separate those, or,
You're actually only on A right now because B was pulled from the agenda.
Okay, so item A.
And I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Is it 3, 4, 1?
I just hadn't got to mine, yes, for getting it to the next,
Three.
for the next meeting, I'd like it. to-
She's for. She's for.
Okay, thank you.
okay. Committee member comments?
I'd like to say something. Do I have 3 minutes?
We don't limit committee
Okay,
comments.
fabulous, all right. I'm just going to kind of do a timeline thing here. I'm new to this committee. So on February 2nd, this committee's first meeting included a principal, an owner of the Abbey Agency, Connie Anderson, making a presentation on the work that they had done over the 7 months into a possible 2-year, $600,000 contract. And she was unable to answer the majority of the questions that we posed to her. So it was a reasonable request for her to come back to the March meeting with answers to those questions. On February 15th, I believe all of us on this committee received an email from Ms. Schallenberger, the marketing manager, that the Abbey Agency had given 30 days' notice resignation. At our second meeting, which was on March 2nd, this is only our third meeting. At our second meeting, a motion was made to audit the Abbey Agency invoices, since there really was a great concern that they had not fulfilled much of their obligations. So Chairperson Wilson and I volunteered to review and audit the invoices, which Ms. Schallenberger said she would provide. And then we would meet again in March, which is this meeting, to go over those invoices and determine their accuracy. The next day, which was March 3rd, I believe, Chairperson Wilson was told the information wouldn't be available until Monday, March 6th. Then on March 6th, I became aware of the fact that Ms. Schallenberger submitted her resignation, not from anybody in this room. The next email communications that I received were to confirm this meeting and then to inform us that the agenda was available. I never received any communication regarding the Abbey Agency invoices. Instead, I see a self-audit, if you will, by the Abbey Agency on the Abbey Agency on the agenda. There is no evidence that the city staff did an audit, and no information was provided to the subcommittee, which is Chairperson Wilson and myself, to perform such audit. And then I find out that all the Abbey Agency invoices had been paid prior to the March 2nd meeting. None of this was disclosed. Then I see on LinkedIn a post from March 9th that there's a marketing manager position available for the city of Solvang. So here we are. Here we are. The Tourism Advisory Committee, the committee to oversee tourism in our town, the committee to make recommendations to our city council on marketing and to provide like reasonable, sensible, and cost-effective options. But we were not told that Ms. Schallenberger submitted her resignation. We were not told that all of the Abbey Agency invoices had been paid prior to our March 2nd meeting. We were not told that a decision to post the marketing manager position had been made. We were not told that the marketing manager position had been posted. And we were not told that the Abbey Agency was doing their own audit on their own work. So why were we not told about Ms. Schallenberger's resignation? Who made the decision to post the marketing management's position? Why was the job posted without this committee having an opportunity to discuss the need for this position moving forward? Like, we are an advisory board or committee. I know there are many qualified, highly qualified individuals interested in the position for the marketing manager, and I have nothing against anybody. I'm just unsure if we even need this position. Could we at least have a discussion about it? Could we at least have a debate and talk about it? It wasn't even brought to us. So I'm just wondering, can you not see how this behavior seems to be opaque and secretive and complicit? So we need honest and transparent communication, or we might as well just disband this committee, since it appears that the city staff and the city council are making decisions that affect marketing and tourism without including any of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to make a comment?
Yeah, I've been on this committee for over a year and a half now. Last year, we were supposed to receive a refund from the other agency, which was Cogs and Marble, for $71,000. It was in the packet of the, I want to make sure I say it right, the April packet of 2022, and we never received that $71,000 refund. It is on tape, I did check, and they were paid $82,200, $82,200 on June 30th. It did not show up on the warrant sheet till this 9/30/2022. So here we are, one agency that wasn't paid. We hired another agency, and we still have not gotten what we need. And I think the problem is the city isn't oversighting their marketing departments correctly. And that is item number 6 that you just read, that are our duties and responsibilities to this community. And I think they're taken very serious to the community. So we've let one agency go that was supposed to give us money back for not doing, and on top of it, they were paid for their services on, and you can go back and look, but it was on 9/30, it showed up on the warrant sheet, and I know my date is exactly correct on that one. And then you go back now on this full Abbey agency was paid, and we just asked that we knew oversight wasn't happening correctly. When you only do 6 posts in 5 months, that is not, you're not adhering to your contract correctly. So I do have a lot of problems how it's being run through the city and back to us, and it falls back to us, but the reality, it falls back to the city not oversighting their own contracts they're asking us to do and help market. It's not for us to bring tourism to the communities to oversight the contract for the community, that we are asking Abbey to bring people and bring marketing to this community.
Anyone else like to make a comment?
Yes.
Sir?
So now we've had another meeting, and we're not going to be able to solve anything still. The city businesses are suffering right now, are going to start to suffer. Now, thank goodness that the people are still coming here, but we need to be thinking already ahead of time. It's a very sad situation. It's unfortunate what has occurred here, and until we can get that addressed, which as the city moves forward, that it looks like we're not moving forward at all until we get something answered. I want to get those things answered too. But by doing this, we're not moving forward. And I want to move forward. I'm sure people out there in that audience want to move forward. But someone's preventing us from moving forward because they want to address an issue publicly, and I don't like that. And I'm very upset against doing something like that. If that person did something wrong, then that will happen at a point in time later, okay? And then they should receive a punishment or whatever needs to be addressed. But to hold something above somebody right now, it's almost like accusing them of doing something wrong, okay? You're assuming that something might be happening. We're not here for that. And I want to make sure that they get fixed. This gets fixed. I've been always for this. But we can't prevent the rest of us from moving forward. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Mr. John? Okay. I will make a comment. So it was James Baldwin that said, "Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed if it is not faced." My professional background, I have an extensive contracting background. I did contracting for the Air Force. I also did civilian contracting for a number of years. I have a bachelor's degree in integrated marketing, public relations, communications. With that degree, I received awards for 4 different marketing campaigns that I did that were quite successful. I have a master's in business with an emphasis in statistics. I also have tech degrees and numerous certifications. I say that because I'm quite adept at what it is that I do and what's being asked for here. I offered my services free of charge. I don't get paid to serve on this council. I reached out to our mayor and said, if need be, free of charge, I am more than happy to step in with what is needed for marketing until we could put something in place. And that was rejected. A member on this council told me that if I didn't leave this alone, that many people in the city would be angry at me, which I take as a threat. As it stands now, I shouldn't have had to come in and say anything about the contract being in non-compliance, because that should have been overseen by the person who was hired to do that and was paid quite well to do that. I should not have had to bring up noncompliance with the vendor because that was not my role and not what I signed up for. However, the contract noncompliance was so egregious that at the first meeting, I had to ask question after question that could not be responded to because of how much those invoices have been padded. Let me be very clear. The committee member that I'm referring to has served on the TAC since the beginning. I asked this, why didn't they bring up the contract noncompliance? Why did I have to step in that position and do that? I keep being pressed to move forward. And as I said at the last meeting, I don't move forward, and I will not support that until we are ready to move forward. We are spending a considerable amount of money. The city lost $580,000 last year because of a phishing scam. And yes, insurance paid some out. But why was that done in the first place? Where's the IT security? We have none. I still have ownership of the Facebook page. At the last meeting, I went to the attorney and the mayor and said, hey, need to transfer ownership of this over. Contact me. Mayor is saying now, I don't know. Well, you got my phone number? You sent me a text yesterday or the day before when I asked if you were going to be here. I shouldn't have to reach out to transfer the assets to the city. Okay. I've had ownership of that page for over a month, and I messaged repeatedly to say that it needs to be transferred in a secure way. I still have ownership of that page. And had I transferred it to the ownership of an individual, as I cautioned the city not to do, that individual who is not present today would have ownership of it. And you would have to get that transferred again, which would take another 21 days. Last year, I advised against awarding the marketing contract without having those companies come back. I stated that it was against industry standard to do it in that manner. I was overruled. I also advised against hiring the marketing manager at that point, as for me it was a conflict of interest, as she was the chair of the TAC committee, also a part of establishing the RFP for the marketing manager position, and was involved in all discussions. And yet, if you look at the August or September committee meeting notes, you will find that she resigned and was then hired as the marketing manager. There were other qualified applicants that should have had an equal say in that position. Our mayor, who I, by the way, have a message from, who had asked me about running for city council because of what I bring to the table. And I will remind him that what I bring to the table is honesty, integrity, and transparency. That was also in the letter of recommendation by your previous mayor, Mayor Urich, Mr. Charlie, who's one of my favorite people. I think if you ask certain leaders in the community, they will speak on my behalf because that's how I operate, with transparency and honesty and integrity. And the reason why I want to bring that up is because I have an issue with one of our leaders coming up here and advancing a company without equal opportunity to many fine companies that could also take over an interim contract and should have the ability to do so. They should have the ability to present in front of us, just like Stiletto Marketing, because I'm not sure how it is that they were chosen since none of us were asked for our opinion. I don't know how you can even advance a marketing company if you don't have a background in marketing and if the marketing contracts have not gone well so far. No one has reached out to me for my expertise that people pay a lot of money for and I offer it for free, and I find that beyond disrespectful. So let me be very clear about unconscious bias. The reason why it's so prevalent is because it's unconscious. If you have someone who has expertise in law on a committee and you have a legal issue in that particular field, I would think you would give them the courtesy of asking at least for consideration of how they should proceed. I would especially think you would do that if they were the chair of that committee. Not one person has contacted me to ask for anything, and yet you advance a marketing company today. I hope that we move forward in a different manner. As it stands right now, I had great hopes for the leadership moving forward because I had been so impressed by Mayor Charlie's performance. And right now, I'm not pleased. right now. I'm very unhappy with the way that I've been treated, the way that I've been disregarded, and the utter disrespect that I feel has been exhibited toward me. To respond to somebody on this panel, no, I will not encourage us to move forward, because I ask how it is that you moved forward for the past 2 years with 2 different companies that got a lot of money and did not give us the services that we paid for. Last year, for Juneteenth, I made a request for $5,000. I had to attend 4 council meetings. I had to write 11 emails, 1 letter, and submit financial documentation, including receipts that I never received a response to, and I received $2,500. There were other local businesses that do great things for the community and bring in tourism, tourists that add value to our community, that either were rejected or received paltry sums. And yet, a company can come from out of state that will never spend a dollar here and get hundreds of thousands of dollars without any oversight. I find that problematic. I am more than happy to move forward with a special meeting and be here once again, spending my time, my child in the back, to be here free of charge, because I want what is best for this city. And that is what I have pledged. But I will also say that we will give equal opportunity to every small business that should be afforded the right to also have a platform of getting a city contract. And that's where I stand. Do I have any city staff comments? Thank you. Then this meeting is adjourned.